Hi guys, welcome to day 2 of this 5-day live stream event that I'm doing this week. I am Mary from the Leather Beast, and I teach you how to create a profitable leather goods business so that you can maximize the sales of your handmade goods. And today we're talking about the 3 biggest challenges that a lot of leather crafters face when they're just getting their leather goods business started and how you can overcome them. So we're going to be talking about targeting your ideal customer, pricing your products right, and inventory today. So these are 3 real hot topics that I think are biggies for everybody who has a leather goods business or who is starting to think about creating a leather goods business. If you're watching right now, please go ahead and say hello. Tell me where you're from, what you're up to. If you have any questions, post them in the comments as well. And before we dive into today's tip, I just want to remind you to get on the VIP list over at lucrativeleathercraft.com. Here, if you get on the list, you will get the special link for telling you how to save $200 off of enrollment of my new course, lucrativeleathercraft.com. The cart opens on Friday. I'm very excited about that. I can't wait to teach a new group of people how really to create an awesome leather goods business from the ground up. So let's get started. The first biggest mistake is not knowing who your ideal customer is and promoting to everyone. And this is why. So say you don't know who your ideal customer is really, or you think that if you really narrow it down, you're kind of losing out on sales. So you create your website and it looks good, but when you look at it, or when you look at someone else's website, you can tell that they're not really targeting anyone because it's kind of bland. It's kind of speaking to everyone. There's nothing really unique that's popping out. There's no, you can't really tell if it's for men or for women or for younger people or older people or for someone who lives in the city and leads a metropolitan life or someone who's more interested in like Western sort of goods and cowboy goods. You know, if you can't really tell who the website is targeted at, if you don't really see that in your own website, then your customers aren't going to see it either. And you're not giving them anything to attract them. You're not giving them anything that's going to be pulling them in and, you know, for them to say, ooh, I like this. This is, you know, I can tell that this website is speaking to me. Let me see what's on this website. So you really need to have that idea of who you are speaking to and then speak to them specifically. So in my course in Lucrative Leathercraft, we talk about this a lot. We talk about how to discover who that customer is. And there's 2 major criteria that my definition of your ideal customer. That's someone who loves and values your work and they have the money to buy it. So those are 2 really important pieces of your ideal customer, and you need to do the work and the research to develop sort of that avatar and that, you know, that picture of what your ideal customer is. And a lot of times that picture becomes clearer, becomes more specific, it becomes more based on fact than guesses at first, but you have to start somewhere, and you really do need to kind of focus in on a group of people if you want to resonate with them. Okay, so that's mistake number 1. Mistake number 2 is that a lot of leather crafters think that they have to create an inventory before they can sell online. And while you can do this, it's risky to do this. And let me tell you why. So if you are creating an inventory of products, that means that you have to front the upfront costs for your, for your materials, your leather, your hardware, your thread, all of that. You're also upfronting the upfront costs for your labor costs, whether that's you or someone you hire out, and you're not even sure that this is something that your ideal customer really wants, really needs, is there's a real demand for it. So whenever you make that mistake, it's risky because you might not get that money back. You might go ahead and do it, make 10 or 15 of the same bag, and then put it out to your customers, and you might hear crickets, sadly. And then down the line, you say, well, I guess I need to put it on sale at least so I can at least move this off my shelf. And you might get back some of your money, some of your upfront costs, but then you're not making any profit. And if you're selling, but you're not making any profit from your sales, then you don't have that extra money that you need to reinvest in your business and to grow your business. So in Lucrative Leathercraft, I give you a couple of different strategies for how to get around this. One of them is creating pre-sales, which I did recently with a new bag. It wasn't a bag, it was a home goods. It was a leather pillow that I was making. And I launched this on a pre-sale. And you basically take what it is that you want to make. You make your samples. So you do go ahead and you make 1 or 2. If you have different colorways, make each colorway. If you have 3 different sizes, make the 3 different sizes. And then you take some pictures and you send this out to your subscribers, to your social following. You might build up a little bit of some excitement around it, you know, put some deadlines on it. And then from that, you gauge the interest. If there's a lot of people that want it, they buy the pre-sale, and then you also have the funds so that you can go out and get your materials, pay for your labor costs, and that's not money that you yourself have to put up front. So that's just one method of doing it, which works really well. You could also do a lead time. I have a lead time on most of my leather goods on my website. So, so really there's not a major upfront cost. You know, leatherwork is expensive, but when you're selling your leather goods, there are ways to get around that initial upfront investment. And because I know a lot of people, myself included, I'm not made of money, and I need to make sure that I'm not overextending myself financially in my leather goods business. So everything, I try to keep all of my upfront costs very low and kind of take it one step at a time. And this is something that I go over in great detail, hi James, in Lucrative Leathercraft as well. The pre-launching and using lead times and just kind of how to go about getting around that inventory. Now when you do markets, yeah, of course you do need some inventory, but for online sales you don't necessarily have to have that upfront. If you're just joining right now or you're watching this on the replay, I just want to remind you to go ahead and get on the VIP list at lucrativeleathercraft.com. When you sign up there for the checklist, you'll be on the list and you will get the special link that will give you $200 off of enrollment in my new course, Lucrative Leathercraft. So that's pretty exciting. The last mistake, another big one, is not including labor costs in your pricing and just kind of overall pricing on the lower end. And this is a mistake. And I know I've seen a lot of people who kind of go the route of, let me just ask some friends, family, what they would pay for this, and then I'll put it up for sale and see if my customers will pay for it. I don't want to say don't ask your friends and family, because it's always great to get feedback from people, but you really need to have more of a concrete idea of what it is that your product costs to make, how much profit you are getting off of it, and what you need to sell it at to at least cover your materials costs, your labor costs, and your profit, the profit margin that you want to get. So in Lucrative Leathercraft, I have an entire section on pricing your products. This is one of my favorite sections because I really do enjoy numbers, and I just think that numbers don't lie, and it's a great way to have a guideline of what you should be pricing your products as. Because a lot of people think that, I think there's a little bit of a misconception that there's this one magic formula, and that whatever that number is that it spits out, that is your carved in stone price, which Not necessarily. A lot of people will go with that price, which is fine, but it's really more of a guideline. You should be using something that is ensuring that you are pricing your product where you are covering your materials cost, you're covering your labor cost, and you're also covering if you sell wholesale and retail. Now, if you plug in your numbers and you think, oh, I would have thought that I would have sold this for more, like I want to sell it for more, I think it has more value, go ahead. That's fine. That's totally up to you, and it's totally up to your customer base and whether or not you think that your ideal customer will pay that price. Or if you put your numbers through the formula and it spits out a number that is a lot higher than you thought, you really need to consider that and look at the number that you are going to sell your product at and say, okay, I can't really sell this because I'll be making like 1% profit, and that's like $1 in my pocket, and that's not enough to build a sustainable business with. So I hope that makes sense. But yeah, like I said, in Lucrative Leathercraft, we cover that in great detail. And the other two mistakes that I was talking about before, I kind of feel like these are like the major pieces of running a successful business when you're selling physical products. It's knowing your customer and having a pricing right that will help you to grow your business to whatever size you want to grow it to. Any questions from anybody watching? If you have any questions later on, feel free to type them into the comments. I'll write back. But I hope this was helpful. And head over to lucrativeleathercraft.com and get on that VIP list. Tomorrow I will be back, and tomorrow I'm talking about my tips for how to find the best business trainings, because I personally have taken a ton of business training, some online courses that talk about marketing techniques, emailing techniques, email marketing, you know, what to say to your subscribers, how to use social media, really leverage it. I've taken some good ones. I've taken some not so great ones. I've taken free ones, paid ones. So I've kind of boiled it down to my list of a couple of things that you really want to make sure whenever you join into a business training, whether it's free or paid, that the training has these components that I think are the most valuable. That's it. Thanks you guys for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.